So we are getting extremely close to the brand new update for chapter 2, and I'll go through everything we currently know so far that comes with this chapter, beginning with the very first leak on the 25th of July last year. From this image, we can see a path guided by two bright lamps surrounded by various sea plants, with a shining blue jellyfish, and right underneath, what could be a transparent orca whale, and what could possibly be a giant seawall in the very back. Then 10 days later, Mark later gave us another sneak peek, which consisted of his character in a very large hallway holding out the Mio lantern. In the background, you can see some gigantic roots blocking his path and a large wooden door with a large eyeball staring at the character, which could possibly mean the monster we encountered previously on the ship, hiachi, could be making a comeback to chapter 2, just like how Nagisa was shown in the Mimic Book 2 chapter 2 trailer. This isn't 100% guaranteed, but I'm pretty sure he could be coming back, could be. But 3 days have passed and we were again greeted with another leak, with the character holding a lantern in front of a forest, or a forest in the sea, judging from the blue lighting in the background. It does look a bit foggy up ahead, so we may or may not encounter a creature in the trees or lurking somewhere up ahead. Our fourth leak wasn't really something that was special, but was still a decent leak. This picture had the character staring out to some thin, long roots, or what could be a gigantic creature trying to find the player hiding underneath this shelter. Either way, we will soon find out what the picture is going to be about. These two leaks consisted of Muck holding out a monster's mouth in the form of a lantern with a glowing eyeball in the middle. Now, this could be possibly this monster due to the shape and color of the outer layer of the lantern, but the only thing that throws it off is the teeth. Comparing it side by side, the monster in the thumbnail had sharper and longer teeth, while the lantern consisted of only small, even small teeth. But we will soon know if the lantern is based on the monster or another creature. Then 6 months after the previous leak, Muck finally announced that the development of chapter 2 will officially continue, and he gave us these two images along with it. Our first image contained a picture of a large dead goat or sheep lying on a wooden table, slowly being rotted away, and surrounding the dead mammal is a small couch, and also on the left hand side, a well-lit torch on the side of the wall, with vases and a large wooden closet on the right hand side. But if you look closely at the animal, you'll see that he didn't have any serious injuries. Not a single body part was missing. Everything was intact, and it still doesn't explain the pool of blood right next to him as well. But anyways, let's move on to the next picture, where you can see the shiny beam of light across what appears to be a living room. There was hardly anything in the room, but a couple of large vases and a leather couch. And you can hardly see the next room, but it doesn't look that important. But it still doesn't explain the pool of blood next to the goat in the previous leak. But 4 days later, Muck didn't tease us with an image, but an animation of an unknown creature. From the information I found off Google, this creature could possibly be Ashinaga and Tenaga. We don't know if this is the Mimic's adaptation of this yokai, but in Japanese legend, this creature is made up of two people, Ashinaga and Tenaga. Both of these two creatures would use their long arms and leg for fishing. The only thing I could think of is the fourth leak, where the roots or a giant's hands trying to hunt for food. Comparing this short 2-second animation to the roots or giant fingers, they awfully look a lot like each other, and this also could not be related to the 4th leak, since these 2 leaks were 6 months apart, or Mark just decided to post a random project that was worked on for chapter 2. But anyways, we were again teased with another 5-second long video 6 days after the previous animation. An unknown creature was feasting on their dead animal. This creature looks very similar to Kishin in the final part of chapter 1. Now, one of 2 things could be said about this creature. 1, it's a complete redesign of Kishin, or 2, this could be a relative of Kishin, or 3, a completely different monster that looks awfully a lot like Kishin. Our next small leak consists of a small room filled with a wooden table and a chair, 2 wooden crates, 1 odd looking bed, and a bright blue window with a couple of handprints on it. Since this leak only shows us 1 room, I'm going to assume that the 4th leak, the 6th leak, the 7th leak, and the 9th leak are all rooms directly inside the same building. This is not guaranteed, but from the looks of the previous leaks, look almost identical to one another, just because of the lighting. I'm just gonna hope it is. But if it's not, I'll be extremely surprised. Anyways, moving on to our next leak is this image. Judging from the surroundings, this could possibly take place inside a building or a cave. This image is filled with cages, wooden crates, and pillars scattered around, and 2 doors which I didn't realize. I didn't think any of us were expecting the 3 pillars on the ground, but we'll let it slide. 13 hours later, Mark gave us another leak again, and it's an animation again. It's just moving its mouth up and down, so I'm gonna guess we encountered this monster inside a cave, or it could be related to the previous leak. Now, if it is related to the previous leak, the most obvious thing anybody can think of, since the way the objects were scattered around, is that we run away from this creature. But remember, this is not guaranteed, so keep that in mind. And now again, we've been given another leak 4 days later, and it's also another video, but this time it's not an animation. It appears this unknown creature has found the player hiding in some sort of basement, and obviously this looks like the exact monster who consumed the poor animal, and it could be possibly the same monster in the previous animation. But here is my take. This room and the room with a dead animal are directly linked, but also those hands have similar looks to this leak. Now, it could be the same creature, or this leak could just be showing a creepy looking tree root. But our next leak shows us a kitchen room with food stocked on the table with 6 wooden chairs, a red lantern, and on the wall could be a different creature being introduced to a new chapter. Or this could possibly be a reference to Enzukai fighting a samurai, possibly kusunoki, and also a storage room in the very back. 6 days later, we were teased with another leak of this creature. I still can't make what yokai this creature is based on, but I am certain that this creature is the creature from the 5-second animation, moving its mouth up and down. But I still can't figure out what the background really is, since it's really blurry. Our next leak just consists of a wooden swing and some large bushes in the background, but what still confuses me is the bubbles, which could only mean one thing, that there is a swing underwater, which could possibly mean that there could be a village of creatures or humans living under the sea. Now this leak is pretty sick. We look through the fence and we see a gigantic fish threatening to consume us, or what's ahead of it. The only thing I found on the internet is this fish called the namazu, I think, which is a very large catfish, and this fish looks nothing like the one inside the mimic, or unless the developers decided to make the appearance of namazu more intimidating. Other than that, below the creature is a building and whatever those are called. So it could be a childcare, which sounds bizarre considering the fact that it's directly underwater. Our next leak is some sort of bridge inside a cave, I'm guessing. There isn't much to say about this leak, but I think this image might take place near the end of the chapter. Our next leak consisted of 3 short videos for Nagisa as a lantern head. Pretty cool, yeah? And a lot of people might like the fact that Nagisa tries to bite your left hand off when you try to touch her head, which is a pretty cool feature which other lanterns don't have. Other lanterns would just move the head around or the eyeballs around, which is kind of really basic.